Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am sick, just like the rest of you. So our boy Dave Chappelle did a new special on Netflix. And he made fun of transgender people. So naturally, you know what I have to do? I gotta watch it. I don't know what's going on with the pipeline of older comedians and then being obsessed with trans people. It's a weird thing, but it's happening. I guess because it's a hot topic. We are so sexy and hot that everyone has to talk about us. And I know that comedians love to push limits, and I guess Dave Chappelle's pretty well known for this, which is fine if you do it right, but he didn't do it right. But essentially, the entire special, all of his jokes fell flat. In my opinion, it was a bad special. It was bad. Matt Rife's fucking awful set was better than this. I mean, Dave Chappelle fans were saying this. So he starts the special out, first 5 minutes. He talks about how he began comedy and how he had the opportunity to meet Jim Carrey. Now, this is a very niche thing. So Jim Carrey played the role of Andy Kaufman, who was also a comedian that Dave Chappelle liked. If you don't know this, just a quick little thing. When Jim Carrey was filming that movie with being Andy Kaufman, he would stay in character the whole time. So, like, if you were on set with Jim Carrey, he was not Jim Carrey, he was Andy Kaufman. You could not call him Jim Carrey, you had to call him Andy Kaufman. And he says the joke, you know, I had to pretend that Jim Carrey was Andy Kaufman all afternoon, and it was clearly Jim Carrey. I could look at him and see that he was Jim Carrey. Anyways, that's how trans people make me feel. And I was liking this joke. I was liking the build-up because I remember watching the documentary about Jim Carrey, and I was like, it was wild. You know, I was like, okay, he's getting to a good joke. And that's how trans people make me feel. Not even 5 minutes. It's not even 5 minutes into the set, by the way. So then he directly follows that up with this. Now, if you guys came here to the show tonight thinking I'm going to make fun of those people again, you've come to the wrong show. I'm not fucking with those people anymore. It wasn't worth the trouble. I ain't saying shit about trans people. Maybe 3 or 4 times tonight, but that's it. I'm tired of talking about them. And you want to know why I'm tired of talking about them? Because these people acted like I needed them to be funny. Well, that's ridiculous. I don't need you. I got a whole new angle. You guys will never see this shit coming. I ain't doing trans jokes no more. You want to know what I'm going to do tonight? Tonight, I'm doing all handicap jokes. Well, they're not as organized as the gays, and I love punching down. So after that, he does this thing, like a hand on his chest. What confused me about this is he's saying the handicapped are not as organized as the gay people, but he didn't mention gay people. And then he continuously uses gay and trans interchangeably between the whole special, as if they are the same thing, which they are not. Then he pretends to be a handicapped person, and he's like, damn, I thought he was gonna make fun of the trans people, not us. Let's get the fuck out of here. And then he walks away like all funky, like he's disabled. And that reminded me of middle school. You know, in middle school, when those shitty kids would make fun of the special ed kids, they would do stupid things like that, like the hand to the chest, or like mocking them and stuff like that. Like Dave Chappelle, I don't know, how old is Dave Chappelle now? 50 something? It was just a poor joke. But then he starts talking about Madison Cawthorn. Madison Cawthorn is a piece of shit, so I didn't really care about defending Madison Cawthorn. After that, he tells us he wrote a play. And I don't get this joke, so please help me. So the play is about a black transgender woman who uses the N-word for her pronoun. And she dies of loneliness because white liberals don't know how to speak to her. That was the joke, which I don't understand. So my first initial thought was like, okay, so is he trying to say white liberals can't save you? But then that doesn't make any sense because white liberals would know how to speak to her. Oh, it's because it just clicked. Okay, because she goes by the N-word pronouns. So white liberals can't refer to her as anything because then they would be saying the N-word. Okay, that's the joke. That's a joke. But then she dies of loneliness because nobody else is going to accept her because only the white libs can save you, which is obviously not true. Now that I think I get the joke, it was executed poorly. After that, he told a Huckleberry Finn joke, which I thought was funny. He was making fun of the name Huckleberry. And he's like, if you ever come across a white person with the name Huckleberry, you know you're fucked. Like, who has that type of name? But then right after that, he went into another trans joke. Like, fuck, dude. God forbid I ever go to jail. But if I do, I hope it's in California. As soon as the judge sentences me, I'll be like, before you sentence me, I want the court to know I identify as a woman. Send me to a woman's jail. As soon as I get in there, you know what I'm going to be doing. Give me your fruit cocktail, bitch, before I knock your motherfucking teeth out. I'm a girl just like you, bitch. Come here and suck this girl dick I got. Don't make me explain myself. I'm a girl. People will be like, oh, it's dark humor. There is a difference between dark humor and just saying something that's terrible. You're just saying that trans women are men. And then you're also saying that men are the issue. And after this joke, he sat down and did the handicap motion again, for whatever reason. Because I guess making fun of the handicaps is just so funny. Okay, here's a normal joke, but it just wasn't funny. This was a horrible performance, and his fans agreed, and that's why I'm just so blown away by it. So he prefaces this joke calling himself a lazy comedian, and he says, you know, sometimes he tells jokes and only 3 or 4 people will laugh in a crowd. He does this impression of the Titanic people who are dead in the ocean, right? Then he makes a joke about the submarine that just went down and exploded, remember it? Yeah. So he's laying like this, and pretending to be the dead Titanic people, and he's like, "Come join us in our watery grave," as he sees the submarine plummeting, obviously, whatever the hell happened to it. And that was the end of the joke. And I kept my mouth open for probably 10 seconds because of how bad that was. You could have made a million jokes about that submarine, and that was the one that you went for. You were a big comedian. What? Then he carries on. He talks about a strip club joke, and he says that he goes alone because it's weird if he goes with his friends. You know, he's like, why would I want to do that? Like, yeah, let's all go to the strip club and get hard together. I chuckled. Then he starts talking about Will Smith and Chris Rock, and the joke made me laugh as well. That's what I wrote down in my notes. If you guys aren't aware, Will Smith slapped Chris Rock on stage during, I forget what it was, something. Chris Rock made a joke about Will Smith's wife, and he was not having it, so he went up and he slapped him. Okay, right after that, Chris Rock did a set, and he did it in Baltimore, and he said in his show, this is right after Will Smith slapped him, "I refuse to be a victim." And then Dave told Chris, he said, "Watch the tape." And then he started laughing in the special, in the Netflix special, and that was the joke. I just felt like it didn't land. It's like, it's flat as fuck. Like, we get it. You were, because you got slapped on stage by Will Smith. Watch the tape. You were. Ha 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 ha. Anyways, months later, Dave Chappelle goes on tour with Chris Rock. And Dave gets attacked on stage too. It was a whole thing. Chris Rock, I can show you the clip if you want me to. Here's a clip.
Was that Will Smith? It was a trans man.
Okay, fine. You know what? Maybe that was kind of a funny joke. I'll give it to him. I'll give that to him. Fine. I think it was good. But it's just still, can you drop the obsession with trans people at the same time? The story doesn't end here. So the attacker actually had a gun, apparently. But it wasn't actually a gun. Security found out because they got it from him. It was a knife. So Dave did a show the next day, and somebody in the audience asked Dave what happened with the attack. And he replied, the guy had a gun that identified as a knife. The gun identifying as a knife joke is like 2016. We have to move past it. It's like saying, I identify as an attack helicopter. You guys have to come up with new material. Say something worse. Say something worse. I identify as a penguin. Do you have any other jokes? No, they all say the same. They all say the same bullshit. So then Dave finishes up the story, and he said the guy attacked him because he did homeless jokes, and he did jokes about the LBGT, which triggered the guy. And turns out the attacker was a B, and then that made like the headline of the post. And he was like, you know, that's the most important thing, like that he's bisexual, whatever. And then he made a joke about it, and I was just like, you can't, like, can we shut up about LGBT people? You should have called the special, I hate the LGBT community, because this is what all we're getting. And then we get glimpses of like little fun little jokes over here that also don't make any sense, but then we go back to the LBGT. After that, he talks about his cheating wife joke. So he was insecure one day. He went through her phone. He found a guy named Earl, and he woke her up. He's like, yo, who the fuck is Earl? And then she was like, that's gay Earl. That's gay Earl. He's my hairdresser, or whatever he was. And then he apologized to his wife. He's like, I'm sorry. Just, you know, go to bed. You know, I guess I just been insecure because of all this cheating that I've been doing. And that was his joke there. Just flat joke, ended flat. The only thing saving him right now is the strip club joke. So he did preface that joke by saying, you know, when you think you're right, you really feel it in your gut that you are right. You're right about something, you know what is true. So he really thought that he was being cheated on. So he says, after he tells that joke, he says, you know, it's a funny thing if you feel you're absolutely right. You can get drunk at the feeling of how right you are. It's why gay people are so mean. End of joke. Was he trying to say that all gay people think that they are right? That's not even like a gay stereotype. Let me take a second and try to think about it. Let me try to decipher this. Hold on. I'll be right back. I can't figure it out. I don't think he's homophobic. I don't remember him really being homophobic, but he was using gay and trans interchangeably, so I don't know if what he's even talking about. He could have ended that joke with saying, it's a funny thing if you feel you're absolutely right, you can get drunk at the feeling of how right you are. That's why conservatives are so mean. Because conservatives think they're right 100,000,000% of the time. Could have done that one, but you can't don't upset the conservatives. Here is a joke about a trans man that I've been trying to decipher literally with you guys on Twitter and with myself for the past 24 hours. At the end of this set, he tells a very long story about how he began his stand-up comedy. Chappelle concludes the dreamer with a long story about how his second stand-up special went oury, involving a nightclub, loud music, bad producers, and Russian mobsters. The moral of the story is that he's a powerful dreamer and has realized his dream, and that it's important to live your own dream and not be a supporting character in somebody else's, or to allow circumstances to defer that dream. It should be a powerful and moving movement. Seeing this legendary stand-up comedian reflecting on his journey and how far he's come, and is followed by a black and white glimpse at Killing Him Softly, and the whole ending is corny or whatever. It's just, during this motivational speech, he says, "I am Will Smith. I'm the man that can't take it anymore and will slap the shit out of the next person that says a crossword to me or somebody that I love. And I am Chris Rock. I'm the man that can get slapped in front of the whole world and keep my composure so I don't fuck anything up. That is what men do. Men make boundaries. Men enforce boundaries. And men test boundaries. And no man tests more boundaries than a trans man." I took forever to try to figure out what it means. And if you get it right off the bat, please comment. I was waiting for the trans man jokes. I was so stoked about them, and I don't know what the fuck it meant. I came up with a bunch of theories as well as my followers, and one of them was, it's a backhanded compliment. Is he saying that trans men are men? I'm not, the joke is still not rendering. Somebody on Twitter said he doesn't believe trans men are men, but he's imagining an insulting argument for why they could be men. And somebody followed that up with backhand validation by attributing the worst of men. I don't know what the joke means. Was it a compliment? All I can think of is he's calling trans men men. But what confused me is he followed this up talking about Lil Nas X. I don't know if, does he think that Lil Nas X is a trans man, right? Because he ran into Lil Nas X at some party or something. He didn't know who Lil Nas was. He said, "When I see a fellow dreamer, I give them my utmost respect, even if I don't understand what their dream is. I know a dreamer when I see one, and I met many of them, but none more powerful than Lil Nas X." Because Nas went up to him and was confident or whatever, and he was like, "I asked you to be in my video, and you said no." And Dave was like, "What video?" And Lil Nas was like, "You know what I'm talking about," and then walked away. So that being followed up with the trans man thing makes me think, does he think that Lil Nas is trans? Or is he just like putting trans and gay together? I've sat down and like dissected this, and I just don't know if I'm fucking stupid. And I watched it with my girlfriend. She didn't understand it either, and she's a lot smarter than me. And then at the end of the special, there's a compilation of Dave Chappelle with a bunch of different celebrities in black and white, you know, the dreamer. It was a really bad special. And I thought Matt Rife's was bad, and his was bad. And Dave Chappelle's last one was bad. This one. And Roseanne's was bad. Okay, actually, nothing will ever top that. Hers was the worst. But this one in particular, I maybe chuckled 2 or 3 times. And I enjoy stand-up comedy, and I do. And I enjoy dark humor sometimes, okay? Or like pushing the limit. There are times you can laugh at that. It just depends the way that you deliver it. All in all, personally, I thought the special was shit. And I'm not even saying that because I'm trans. It's just like, there is a lot more material that you could make about trans people that would be funny, that would actually make trans people laugh, or LGBT people, whatever. But this was a, as he said, very, very lazy act. I was shocked. There was nothing there. I felt like I was being edged. Anyways, I'm going to go now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do want to keep up with me on any of my socials, they're all right here, or they will be down in the link below. I have a Discord as well, which I talk in a lot. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed now, so make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe bell, or what the fuck, hit the notification bell, subscribe to your boy. Alright, I'm just gonna go now. I love you guys so much. I will see you next week with a new video.